Let's get right into it. Number 7. The energy drink masquerading as fuel. Picture this. You're exhausted. Life is happening too quickly. Deadlines are tap dancing on your skull. And suddenly you crack open an energy drink. The can hisses like it's promising salvation. Don't worry, it whispers. I've got wings or claws or extreme lightning power or whatever branding we paid millions for. You take a sip and immediately feel like your nervous system just logged into turbo mode. But here's the fine print. Your brain conveniently ignores. These drinks are chemical roller coasters, disguised as productivity juice. Caffeine alone isn't the villain, too much of it is. And energy drinks pack enough caffeine to make your neurons jitter like they're performing a tap dance routine inside your skull. When your brain gets slammed with excessive caffeine, your adenosine receptors, those chill little molecules that tell you when you're tired, basically get duct taped into silence. So your brain thinks it's alert, but actually, it's just being held hostage. And then there's taurine, marketed like it's liquid genius juice. Fun fact, taurine is good in small amounts, but combined with monster-level caffeine, your brain gets shoved into fight-or-flight mode without your consent. Think of it like replacing your brain's entire staff with caffeinated raccoons. Hyper, confused, strangely motivated raccoons. Let's sprinkle in high-fructose corn syrup, which energy drinks chug like it's a competition. Your brain hates sugar spikes. They cause inflammation, stress the hippocampus, your memory's landlord, and make your reward system fire like a slot machine stuck on max. Over time, sugary drinks are linked to reduced brain volume, the literal shrinking of the organ you're using to decide whether to keep drinking this neon liquid anxiety. So while energy drinks make you feel invincible for an hour, the crash turns your brain into a sluggish, confused marshmallow, wondering why it ever trusted you in the first place. Number 6. The healthy, flavored yogurt lie. Ah, yogurt. The food that struts around pretending to be a wellness guru. It shows up with probiotics wearing sunglasses, telling you it's good for your gut and therefore your entire life. And sure, plain yogurt? Amazing. Good bacteria, balanced nutrients, brain-friendly. But flavored yogurt? That's a dessert with an identity crisis. You look at the label and think, ooh, strawberry yogurt, sounds healthy. But if actual strawberries were percentage of content employees, they'd barely qualify for part-time work. What you're really eating is sugar in a creamy disguise. Some tiny cups contain the sugar equivalent of an entire candy bar, except you feel responsible eating it. Your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for decision-making and impulse control, absolutely hates sugar roller coasters. Too much sugar creates oxidative stress, basically. Your neurons start to feel like overworked employees in a hot office with no AC. Over time, this stress affects learning, memory, and emotional regulation. Your brain doesn't just get annoyed, it gets worse at being a brain. And don't forget artificial flavors and dyes, which are like sending chemical clowns to perform inside your nervous system. Your brain tries to ignore them, but they affect neurotransmitters linked to attention and behavior. If your thoughts ever feel like they're buffering, your yogurt habit might be partially responsible. Meanwhile, the gut-brain axis is sitting there like a long-distance relationship under stress. Excess sugar disrupts your gut microbiome, the ecosystem that works closely with your brain. When the gut flora get messed up, your mood, cognition, and clarity all start glitching like a video game running on a 1998 computer. But as long as the yogurt is packaged in a pastel cup with pictures of fruit that practically scream wellness, most people keep falling for the con. It's not yogurt that's the problem. It's yogurt with the same sugar content as a donut pretending it's doing your brain a favor. Number 5. The mighty instant noodles. Picture yourself starving, broke, exhausted, or simply unwilling to cook anything that involves more than boiling water. So you grab instant noodles, the culinary equivalent of giving up, but in a comforting way. You know it's not healthy, but you still convince yourself it's not that bad. Your brain does not agree. Instant noodles are a salt explosion hiding in a bowl. The sodium levels are so high that if your brain had kidneys of its own, they would file for labor union protection. Excess sodium doesn't just affect your heart, it can impact your brain's cognitive functions. Too much of it can tighten blood vessels, restrict blood flow, and make your brain act like it's trying to run on low power mode. But salt is only the opening act. Then comes MSG, a flavor enhancer that gets way too much demonization, despite actually being pretty safe for most people. The real issue is everything else floating inside that flavor packet: preservatives, saturated fats, chemical stabilizers with names that look like Wi-Fi passwords. Your brain does not enjoy trying to decode those. And let's not forget TBHQ, a preservative that keeps noodles from turning into tiny mold ecosystems while sitting in warehouses for years. In small doses, TBHQ is allowed. In instant noodle doses, it's like giving your cells a riddle they can't solve. Some research suggests TBHQ can interfere with brain signaling, especially around the immune system. Not exactly the mental boost you hoped for. But the biggest brain villain? Lack of nutrients. Instant noodles are the edible version of filler episodes. They keep you occupied but don't move the plot of your health forward. Without proper amino acids, vitamins, and minerals, your brain gets sluggish. It's trying to run an expensive, high-maintenance organ on the nutritional equivalent of cardboard. Still, you keep slurping them down at 2 a.m. because somehow they taste like comfort and despair at the same time. Number 4. The glorious ice cream tub. Picture yourself having a rough day. You open the freezer. There it is, your frosty emotional support bucket. Ice cream is that friend who shows up when things go wrong and says, "Shh, let's forget your problems for 10 minutes. But while your feelings are being soothed, your brain is getting a biochemical slap. First issue, sugar overload. Ice cream has the sugar equivalent of a romantic breakup text, short, sharp, and emotionally devastating. Your brain gets flooded with glucose so fast it's like, are we being attacked? What is happening? Then insulin kicks in and overcorrects, leaving your brain in a temporary fog. Long-term high sugar consumption contributes to insulin resistance, which has been linked to cognitive decline and memory issues. It's like your brain is slowly trying to have a conversation through a wall of static. Then come saturated fat, which is great for making ice cream taste amazing but not so great for neuron communication. Diets high in saturated fat have been shown to impair the hippocampus, the part of your brain that decides whether you remember that important thing you were supposed to do or forget your cousin's birthday again. And we cannot ignore the additives. Emulsifiers, stabilizers, artificial flavors. Ice cream is basically the avengers of unnecessary chemicals. Some emulsifiers may alter gut bacteria, which then messes with mood and cognitive clarity. If your thoughts ever feel like they're moving through a foggy swamp, your ice cream habit might be gently sabotaging you. But here's the dramatic twist. Your brain loves this cream. The combination of sugar and fat is literally engineered to trigger reward circuitry. When you take that first creamy bite, your brain goes, this is the meaning of life. And you listen, and you keep listening until half the tub disappears. Ice cream isn't evil, but it's definitely holding your brain's health hostage in exchange for emotional comfort. Number 3. The late-night pizza slice. Imagine this. It's 1 a.m., you're hungry, you're scrolling through food delivery like it's a dating app, and suddenly pizza appears. Perfect, hot, cheesy, emotionally irresistible. You know you shouldn't, but you do. You always do. Pizza feels like harmless indulgence, but to your brain, it's a biochemical rave. Here's the biggest villain. High saturated fat. Cheese, pepperoni, sausage. Oh look, it's an all-you-can-eat fat buffet. Saturated fats don't just clog arteries, they interfere with the brain's ability to create new synapses. New synapses equals learning and memory. So while you're enjoying that cheesy goodness, your neurons are quietly giving up and sitting on beanbags. Then there's the refined carbs in the crust, which hit your bloodstream faster than a spoiler hits the internet. The rapid glucose spike stresses your brain, triggers inflammation, and forces a hormonal roller coaster that leaves you cognitively slower hours later. Yes, even the next morning when you're wondering why you feel like a malfunctioning robot. Pizza sauce doesn't help either. Many commercial sauces are loaded with hidden sugar. Combine sugar with fat, and your brain's reward circuitry lights up like it just won a vacation. Dopamine shoots through the roof, you crave more, and then, crash. But the real kicker, eating pizza late at night wrecks your sleep quality. When you sleep poorly, your brain can't clear out metabolic waste, one of which is beta amyloid, a protein linked to dementia when it builds up. So that 1 a.m. pizza slice, your brain remembers it. And not in a good way. Pizza isn't trying to ruin your life. It's just really good at it. Number 2. The sugary breakfast cereal scam. Imagine waking up, stumbling into the kitchen, and grabbing your favorite cereal, the one with the smiling cartoon mascot who looks way too happy for 7 a.m. You pour it into a bowl, add milk, and boom. Instant childhood nostalgia. But here's the problem. Your brain is about to experience the nutritional equivalent of a prank. Sugary cereals claim they give you energy to start your day, which is technically true if you consider a sugar crash part of your morning routine. These cereals are mostly refined grains, coated in enough sugar to fund a dentist's dream mansion. When that sugar hits your bloodstream, your brain experiences a rapid glucose spike. At first, you feel awake, alert, maybe even brave enough to face your inbox. But 45 minutes later, your brain dissolves into fog. You feel distracted, irritable, and strangely empty, like your thoughts are glitching. That's because your insulin overcompensates, pulling too much sugar out of your blood and leaving your brain starved for fuel. This cycle, repeated every morning, wears down cognitive performance faster than a toddler with access to crayons and white walls. Then there's the artificial coloring, which is basically a rainbow of chemicals disguised as fun. Some studies link certain dyes to hyperactivity and behavioral issues, especially in kids. Your brain is just trying to figure out why your memory feels like a corrupted game save file. Even the so-called whole grain cereals often contain oils, preservatives, and processed formulations that don't actually act like whole food in your body. Your gut microbiome, the backstage crew, for your entire mood and cognitive function gets confused. Instead of feeding it fiber-rich nutrients, you're giving it sugar-dusted cardboard shards. Worst of all, the marketing. Cereal companies use bright colors, nostalgia, and fortified with vitamins as camouflage. But here's a fun fact. Adding vitamins to junk doesn't make it healthy, it just makes the junk richer. Your brain wants breakfast. It does not want dessert at sunrise. Number 1. The innocent-looking white bread. White bread seems harmless, soft, fluffy, comforting, basically a carbohydrate pillow. But your brain sees it differently. To your neurons, eating white bread is like replacing premium fuel with the cheapest gas station sludge you can find on the side of a highway. White bread is made from refined flour stripped of all fiber, nutrients, and personality. It digests so fast it might as well be pre-chewed. When you eat it, your blood sugar skyrockets. Your brain gets hit with a giant glucose wave, then immediately suffers the predictable crash. Cue fogginess, irritability, and impaired focus. Over time, diets high in refined carbs are linked to inflammation in the brain and reduced cognitive performance. The hippocampus, the brain's memory manager, takes some of the worst hits. Repeated sugar spikes basically make it less efficient at forming and storing memories. But here's the underappreciated villain: glycation. Refined carbs contribute to the formation of AGE's advanced glycation end products, which damage proteins, including those in your brain. Think of AGEs as tiny, chaotic gremlins that break into your cognitive machinery and rearrange the furniture. And since white bread contains almost no fiber, your gut microbiome gets nothing out of it. No nourishment for the good bacteria means less communication between gut and brain. Poor gut health equals poor brain health. It's an unfair partnership, really. The worst part? White bread is everywhere. Sandwiches, toast, snacks, you eat it without thinking. And while one slice won't ruin your life, years of daily consumption quietly nudge your brain in the wrong direction. It's soft. It's innocent. It's also a slow cognitive assassin. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.